We're going to start with this tune.
Dancehall.
We can't go until we fix the thing.
Rasta
One where we are. This is the second time we do live cutting outside our.
I'm out on a truth now. A program like Cutting Edge, I think, would be a useful community development tool to see you on the end work in this program in this way is a big inspiration for you.
Yeah.
And the fact is that for 33 years, there are people who are adults knowing that them not Rasta, but them food conscious now because of you, or them Pan-African conscious because of you, and some of them is artists because of your range of things. So that kind of contribution, when you're able to now make them see say you is a real person, many of them still.
Somebody just tell me that a while ago.
Yeah, man.
They don't tell me see you for real.
Some of them shocked about this thing. I can't imagine that everybody walk barefoot at some time, but because you walk barefoot all the time, it's still marvelous to many people.
40 years.
Yeah, man. I'm still amazed at that.
Yeah, man, no, we should have to.
But the eyes are kind of.
No, you know you're talking about me.
Alright, yeah,
That's the birthday.
true.
You're talking about Mubaraka.
Hey, what Musa is here with that?
Alright. We could talk about Haile Selassie. We could talk about some things where you feel that the people is not aware of as it relates to even Rasta or Haile Selassie. But can you think of anything where the people never hear about Haile Selassie or hardly hear about Haile Selassie?
Well, I think that because of the way we relate to His Majesty, many of the regular people kind of not spend no time to check out why we are saying what we're saying.
Yeah.
And for me, His Majesty is one of the most important post-independence international statesperson to interact with the Jamaican and Caribbean people. And what I mean by that is that when His Majesty came to the Caribbean, that is after he formed the OAU, Organization of African Unity. Forming the OAU is an organization that was designed to help to decolonize and to unify Africa. But by extension, when he came to the Caribbean, we were also included in that. And many people see it as a visit for Rasta people, His Majesty appear in front of us. This is a political visit. His Majesty come here to tell us that people them just get independence, but remember say you have a larger heritage that you've forgotten over the last 300 years. Remember say we have common issues, not just historically, but in the present, same colonial issues. We have similar poverty and developmental challenge, so we have to stick together. And not only was that message brought to Jamaica, it was brought to every country in Goto. Same thing in saying Trinidad, same thing in Haiti as well. Same thing in saying Barbados. But the Caribbean don't really continue on that Ethiopian Pan-African part. Them continue with them British and them American bilateral colonial behavior. So I'm saying just after independence, when a strong, independent, sovereign from Africa trying to lead that whole continent into a post-colonial vision, come present himself here politically, is only wrapped up seriously.
Yeah.
It's only we appreciate the importance of His Majesty being here. Our government don't really act on that. His Majesty gives scholarships to the Jamaican government. We don't act on that at that time when he come. If a school, it's here to build that school. So, in a way, and if you think about it, His Majesty come from Ethiopia, one of them countries where them say is the poorest country. Leave money to develop a school here. Yeah, I don't know if Queen Elizabeth do anything but cut ribbon when she come. I never hear say she leave no money for no major thing to happen for us in them way. But
that's the only king of going things over.
Well, we know that too, yeah.
That's terrible thing, that too.
Yeah,
You know, say in King's House.
Interesting.
And the man will pick actor and them get months in a prison and will pick dozen actor for King's House grounds. Remember that you there?
Well, you see that thing where you talk about the house?
Yeah.
When His Majesty comes to Jamaica, if you are to think about what it means when a state fails, when a visiting sovereign enters, the Jamaica, it failed protocol breakdown. The Jamaican government could act. If them fire tear gas is a problem, if them anything them is a problem, and His Majesty now appears on the plane step, the Jamaican government don't know what to do, and His Majesty suggests to call Martin Plano. The time that passes Plano to reach from where he was to the plane step, we are told is not that long, but Plano restores order to the state.
Yes.
Like that me I said.
I'm part of it.
Yeah. So you talk about the conquering lion and people really take that in a sense that it actually happening in front of you. That he arrives in your country, and him is the one that the orders to provide the right leadership in this moment to make the people them don't continue to create mayhem for your protocol. So, you know, the fact is that I see His Majesty moving around the world to different countries as a political and symbolic actor, where he understands that himself representing Ethiopia as a nation that understands freedom, have a role leading especially the newly independent nations on suggested path to us. And the United Nations in remind us this is the only way that certain countries are going to be able to have their voices heard, have their standards raised in a certain kind of way. So I think our community have paid attention in a way that if we had available information that taught these leaders, it's not this autobiography should be one of those, you know, you have to read a serious history.
I don't want to talk about it. I talk about His Majesty autobiography. You realize, I will leave a Rasta read the Bible and can quote the Bible, and he never see the autobiography yet.
Yeah.
That means, you know, this is when you go buck up on Haile Selassie autobiography, you know, everything in the Bible into Haile Selassie, you know. And it kind of creates a confusion. Because when all a man like me come and I say, why would I read the autobiography or the philosophy and opinion that we Bible, and say, but Haile Selassie is saying we need to be about this version of the Bible and how make how goal it might be, whatever that. I say, yeah, but you know, Haile Selassie, when people talk about him from the tribe of Judah, Haile Selassie said, for in dynasty, go beyond Solomon and Sheba.
Hi, Heather.
How are you?
Well, Heather found out my Widowmaker was 97% stock.
To Ori.
Yeah.
You ever hear the rastaman talk about Ori?
Yeah, maybe hear some brethren.
No,
yeah,
alright.
Yeah.
Most rastaman don't know where I talk about.
See.
This is me mentioning it. Oh, this is me mentioning it on the radar. Man, I said, Muta, where get them fools from? Man, talk me and tell me that, you know. So, Muta, where get them fools about Ori? Who name Ori? And the Lion of Judah shall break every chain. I mean, I say, yeah, but you know, there must be some reason why Haile Selassie mentioned that his dynasty go further than Solomon and Sheba.
But you know of that book by, his name is Charles Ray, where the man, in doing a history of His Majesty's lineage, asked His Majesty, to provide him with a list of his ancestors. And His Majesty commissioned his team of scholars, and it took a while. But when the list was provided, it took him 7,000 years back to the Ori.
Yeah, Ori. Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that His Majesty himself not only said that, but painstakingly has provided the evidence of that. Yeah, man, if you check that book, Ray, R-E-Y is his name.
Well, I talked to some Ethiopian in Ethiopia, and said, this idea of Solomon and Sheba is not something you hear Haile Selassie talk about. And that might freak out a whole heap of people.
Well,
Him don't publicly just, it's like how Rasta said, him have killed Lord of Lord, Conqueror, and of Judah, and Israel. It's not something where Haile Selassie flirt in the face of the people there. So, what do you have to wonder, why is it that him which can't be a boss, Solomon and Ghana worry, and we as the Rasta never either go find out who is this emperor Ori that Haile Selassie talk about, because maybe people that talk about Ori, they won't get stuck in the Bible, they would have go to the autobiography of Haile Selassie. It's like when they talk about Leonard Howell. Leonard Howell showed them something, self-reliance, and this and that, a man talk about righteousness and righteous that. Like he wants to was like some Christian business.
And you're right, you know, because a big part of Leonard Howell's achievement was transforming people's lives economically.
Of course.
Yeah, big part.
Economical
transformation.
Own food, own sampata.
Yeah, man. That lifted them.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. The economic transformation, why them start to chant Bingi, you know. Them happy. Yeah, man, and them have the resources now to come together to focus on them higher spirituality. Yeah, man, so we tend to ignore the fact that a big part of the reason why we come together should be really to develop economy. And every time we come, we say, if we perfect the administration, then we eventually get the economy. Well, our objective should lead with the sense of the practical economic needs that drive us every day. And once we solve those problems, then it's them space you get out there, you know, as well as you get it hardship as well. But you get it out of a space now where you have a little more leisure, where your mind can start to put together the hardship or the beauty experiencing as expression now. You know, and you say, give me a drum, and you start to put in the different elements. But the economic togetherness is an important part of the advancement of our people. And I think our community has not prioritized that enough.
The economics.
The economic.
No, because what's that bonds up? You see that you are doing them about money and I talk about this and that. Actually, it is what I like talk about, you know. Money, sex. Because I'm afraid to talk about sex, so that you want it more than everybody else. Think I joke. And debt. And debt. D-E-A-T-H.
Dying.
Yes. What I don't like, what I don't come to me with this, brother. People that think him come there, you know, physically. They are only for Rasta from them time there. Whenever this is them flesh, you never know that. It looks like a surprise.
No, man.
Yeah, elder, you know, bullshit.
Yeah?
No, you never know, so only for Rasta, they have to them can't dead. Physically.
Yeah, man.
Because that was one of them a thing, so. Then a only for Rasta at them time there. They say the wages of sin is death, but the gift of joy is eternal life. And you can say, when you can talk away there, you might talk right now, I'm sure that they are a long time, because you're not going to one funeral, you're not going to one burial.
So you think that they actually believe so they're not there?
Yes, but I mean, you know what they want to the man there from the Bamali Beach, but they mean to down there. Bonnie and all them, and you see, so Bonnie I think about them. I wish the things that talk about that months on the rastaman. You know how much time I get licked for that from say lick me, fuss out. So me I come and the thing with that car. And then no sex. Sex is that thing where rastaman like that about. You know see, and it's economics, no money. Money is a thing where rastaman like that about. But they want it. Because you know say, I wouldn't if I want take longer for certain one, reach certain way. Because rastaman just they are so you know. This out. You know, see, because I wouldn't if I wears to see Rastafari. You know, see, that man who don't lapse. And you can't tell him, say, man, a Rasta. I have some youth that say, if you tread, that means say you're a Rasta. But him not say it that way, and say you don't have to tread. They say the whole of them tread. The man who has said that, so that's the confusion now. So me I say, no, as Jalan, you know, who is a dreadlock, herdsman, well-educated, university and all them stuff there. You can make a difference in the economy of Rastafari. So that mother asks you know, what where you see as to an adventure, where you think say, Rastafari rally round fast to make the economy of Rastafari grow.
Yeah, try ask Iron.
No, try me ask you.
Alright, so you ask Iron to find the solution.
No. I never find a solution. I say what you would do, and I say, the way you ever do no much solution. That's why your opinion for what you would do as it relates to the economy of Rastafari.
Well, I mean, it is a straightforward thing in terms of what we have been saying to the society since that time. Ganja is a major food basket.
Okay.
In a whole heap of ways. Ganja as a food basket for I and I is our first economy. I'm not saying ganja alone, you know, but we are at the point where the world has decriminalized ganja.
Yeah.
And if the government had gone in a clear direction, Antigua Shore, St. Vincent shows that Alright would have been better placed in the ganja economy. So that's just a simple thing.
But Jamaica have a ganja economy?
No.
Okay.
Them failed to establish one.
Who's them, by the way? Who's them?
The people them that set the laws and get the election and have parliamentary posts and ministry responsibilities. Those people who set the rules have failed to establish an industry.
Okay.
Right? But it's not just ganja, because Rastafari has led in what is now called naturopathy, which is a whole industry that avoids sickness and disease because you're eating wrong and then you have to go doctor for a certain kind of treatment and them things. And we can see now that that lifestyle is one of the leading internationalizing ways that people are trying to recover good health.
Yeah.
Everybody is going vegan and telling you why.
Plant-based.
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 And vegan, that's the word that they're saying, not vegetarian, because they're a vegetarian that eat flesh. You know, I didn't know that.
We have lacto-vegetarian.
All of them.
Lacto-vegetarian, drink salad and stuff there.
But when I look at like people in the Eastern Caribbean, there seems to be more economic transformation of those Rastafari in the sectors that are now important wellness sectors. So you're not just talking about being able to offer spa and vacation type of recovery treatment, but you have a whole heap of things.
So you think say we have to centralize all of that, or you think say man can just go and do it and then to develop into something collectively eventually? Man have to focus and say make the whole of come together and do that.
I think people already are leading in ways that each of us can benefit from. What we really need is to be able to market ourselves in ways that people understand that this is a niche and that this is not just unique and novel, but it is the kind of progressive intervention that science now supports and that kind of thing.
So how are we going to do that?
Well, we're already engaged in some parts of the Caribbean like that, and I think there are people in Jamaica that are in those sectors working. Increasingly more of us need some of it is know-how support, how to move from domestic cottage industry to something which now has Bureau of Standards and able to export. There are many of us that invent products, that work for us, and in some instances the products are traded but them can't reach standards for shelf and export. So in a real sense, and it go back to as early as the 1960 report on Rastafari, where when research and seen to be legitimately a citizen with the right to think how we think, the recommendations were radio empowerment, Rastafari need radio station, community centers, Rastafari need community centers where things like what you're seeing here can happen. Workshops.
I said, a Rasta don't own a radio station from about it.
I don't know if we have a station in that way, but maybe.
No, I mean, no, Rasta own it.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's not Rasta
so how it fulfills it?
As a community that own and manage that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which makes a difference.
So you're talking about now, we should have a radio station that we own and manage.
If you look at the people who have transformed themselves in less than 20 or 50 years, you see the people in Southeast Asia, you see the people in the Middle East, the Dubai and Singapore models are people that in less than a generation.
Yeah, but they never have history.
They didn't have some of that history. Yeah. But what they demonstrated increasingly is real solidarity as a people to work together in a way where them truly unified, pulling together. Them understand sacrifice and nationalism, and when you want to, if we see what is happening now in the world as Trump put levies all over the world, is really one of those moments to demonstrate how advanced the world is as post-colonial. So with 60 years of independence, most of the places like Jamaica and many countries in Africa gone through. And now you have a kind of bullyism around who you can be friends with, who you can trade with.
Yeah, but that's the American thing. What I say, it's that we are talking about last time.
Yeah.
So when I'm going out with Trump, I say about the nationalism.
Yeah.
But I say, in terms of centralizing the mind of the ones who have that, for example, you have the vegans, is it necessary to centralize it, or it can just spread like what that's spread?
Well, that's what I'm saying, that if we don't have a source to begin to shape the mind there, which is what the gathering does. Yeah. What is the gathering for? It's really subliminal, and it's not anything that will leap out and hit somebody over the head. But when you come together in a regular way, you go and find economy. Or when you talk, you say, oh, let me get the number. I mean, we need a certain kind of continuation in this conversation because we see that networking can happen. When we come together, we're also trading immediately. We're spending money together, we're exchanging things. So, as one of the first objectives, the way we come together and why we're coming together needs to be something that we can do in a systematic way. And that is the role now of one like myself and yourself and people who are organizers to help to provide those meeting opportunities for economy to work, socializing as well as a part of economic development. And out of that, we're going to find our niche, We're going to get stronger, you're going to have an organic market that people can rely on. And most of them now have to go supermarket because it's not just a pop-up Rasta going to once a month. But Rastafari is so organized that every Friday I can go and get all of the organic food.
But you can't do that no more.
That's part of the kind
That's why I ask you if it's important to centralize everything, or it can just go on over organically and then it just spread.
Well, I think everything about organic.
It's like how it's like how Rasta never have no church. See? I mean, nowadays everybody have church, but like how Rasta never have no church. And every time you see Rasta, more Rasta. And every time you see more Rasta. You see Rasta never centralized
like that,
yeah, where him go to this church and him say this and that. But there's so much different ideas and concepts of Rasta now. We are survived. So that's why we are asked if you feel say it's necessary that
but we do have
Rasta class one something.
No. That's not there. I mean, I think that has been part of the strength of our
yes, I agree with you.
In fact, as far as I'm concerned, we are one of the most unified communities in the Caribbean.